So step back and focus. Think about the future and where you want to be. Enjoy the process and be consistent. If you can do those 4 things, then you can get yourself back into that high performance world. Hi, and welcome to Helping You Perform. I'm your host, Paul Teasdale. Over a career working with high performing teams from across the globe, including 7 years working with Formula One team McLaren, I've learned a lot about what it takes to drive results. In this weekly podcast series, I'm going to be bringing you tips, tricks and insights from the world of Formula One that you can apply to your organisation for your high performance. Enjoy. Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Helping You Perform, where I bring my tips, tricks, insights and stories from the world of Formula One and beyond to help you accelerate your own performance. I hope you enjoyed the last of these episodes, which wasn't last week, it was actually a few weeks ago, which actually ties in with this week's topic. That last episode was episode 58, where I talked about building or buying talent. So when you need that talent in your organisation, do you make the choice to build that talent from within, or do you buy externally? So I do recommend you go back, have a listen to that episode if you haven't already. But this week's episode is all about when things haven't been going your way. When you know you're a high performer, but you simply haven't been achieving, how can you get yourself back on track to really be in that high performance world? Now, there's 2 stories I want to tell in this space. One is around the world of Formula One and my experiences there, and the other one's a bit more personal of late as well. So, with that Formula One world, when I first joined McLaren back in 2015, they were in that relationship with Honda as the engine supplier, and things just weren't working out. I like to use the term they were riding the crest of a slump. They were really in the lowest of the low in terms of this amazing team with such great history and a history of winning, and they were right at the back of the grid. They were really struggling to perform. Things weren't working out. Everything they tried just wasn't getting them the results that they were trying to get at. So when you're in that situation, what can you do? What can you do to make sure that you keep yourself in the game, first and foremost, but actually get back on track to where you want to be and where we see them now in terms of getting podium finishes and getting more and more results in the top of the grid, really, and top of the teams that are involved in Formula One these days. Now, when I reflect back on what they were doing at that space, it actually ties in with something that I'm trying to do right now from a personal perspective. Because I think back a few weeks back to when that last episode was being released and when things were going on there, I was really riding the crest of a slump in a personal way, both from a health perspective and just wasn't in the headspace to perform as best as I possibly could. Lots of stuff happening at home, in work that's going on, lots of pressure, lots of things that were impacting me that meant that I wasn't delivering to the extent that I knew I could deliver. And I was allowing that lack of results to actually have a negative cycle and a almost like spiral back into even more and more pressure and more poor results off the back of it. So thinking back to that, what were McLaren doing back in the days and what can I do now and what am I trying to do? The first thing to do was to step back and realize that, to take some time to go, do you know what? This isn't working. Whatever we're doing right now isn't getting the results that I know we can achieve. And focus on the future. That's the next step. Get your future vision really strong in your head. What is it you want? And set a realistic time frame for where you want to be. So there's no point in McLaren back in those days saying, we're at the back of the grid this season. By next season, we want to be winning every single race. It's more of a long-term view. And it comes to the stage with your health and your well-being as well. If you find yourself in a place where you are letting things slip, so maybe you can set yourself those goals for where do I want to be by the end of this year? Where do I want to be in 3 to 6 months' time? Or maybe in a couple of years' time? that I can start to set some goals and visions for that are achievable. Yes, they are pushing and they want to be something that's really high performance, but they're also something that isn't unrealistic when it comes to the deliverables that you're trying to do. And the third thing, the thing that's really important, is to focus on the process. To go back and say, what are we going to do? Let's enjoy the process of making ourselves better, getting ourselves to where we want to be, and enjoy the process of improvement. You know, I've been in the world of process improvement for a long time, and it's the one thing that is easy to slip back from is you focus so much on the results that you forget to enjoy the moment and to enjoy the process of improvement. So when that came to the McLaren world, what they were doing is saying, right, we'll step back. This isn't working right now. We need to focus on 5 years' time, 3 to 5, maybe even beyond that. Let's set ourselves up so that we enjoy a journey that gets us back there, and to refocus on that longer term vision. And that helps you to go, do you know what? Whether or not I'm winning this race or not, the thing that's right in front of me, if I know I'm taking the right steps and I'm enjoying the process of taking the right steps, that's going to get me there eventually. And that's the same when it comes to your health or your personal performance in work. It's setting yourselves those longer term goals and then saying, do you know what? Let's enjoy the process. Let's set ourselves up to go back to the gym. You know, I've rejoined a new gym and set myself up with a new routine, and really getting into loving the actual process of going through and getting more and more exercise, eating healthier, having a healthier lifestyle that goes along with it. And focusing on enjoying that rather than trying to achieve the outcome that is there. Still want to get to that outcome. That's still desirable. But actually, if I don't enjoy the process, what's the point? And then it's the small gains. That's where you'll start to see the things that come through if you are consistent. And this is the final point. So step back and focus. Think about the future and where you want to be. Enjoy the process and be consistent. If you can do those 4 things, then you can get yourself back into that high performance world. And if you've been there before, you know you can achieve it. If you haven't been there before and you're setting yourself some new targets that other people are achieving, but you've never been there yourself, then think to yourself, they've done it. It's doable. It's not unachievable. It just, they are further down the process than you, and they've enjoyed the process of getting there and have had the time and the circumstances that have allowed that as well. So those are my 4 steps. Those are the things that I want you to focus on if you feel and recognize that you aren't performing at the high performance level that you know you can. Whether you've been there before or it's just a new aspiration, a new goal, step back, focus on the future, enjoy the process, and be consistent. Now, as always, I'd love to hear your stories on this. I'd love to hear your advice and your thoughts. So get in touch, drop me a message, get in touch with me via LinkedIn, hit me up via the website. If you go to paulteasdale.co.uk, set up a free 30-minute chat with me, let me know your circumstances, if and how I can be of value, and let's talk about that. And if you can be of value to me, you know, if you're offering something back that you can help me on my personal journey and on my career journey as well, always looking for help and support in that space as well. So that's it for this week's episode, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Helping You Perform podcast. If you found value in this episode, please take a moment to like, share, or review the podcast. You can reach out to me at any time, either through LinkedIn or through my website at www.paulteasdale.co.uk. I look forward to speaking to you in the next episode.